TV studio, live to you from the exhibition hall here at the Bella Center in Copenhagen, Denmark, where we are here for the 33rd, wow, it's already getting later in the afternoon, the 33rd edition of ECCMID this year. This is a very fun part for me during the interviews and the broadcasts that we're doing, because this is the moment that which I discussed with Jacob Moran-Galad, ECCMID's program director, this morning about the Agar Art that has been made by some of our attendees this ECCMID. Agar Art is also sometimes named microbial art or art served to you by a petri dish. And it's really interesting to see what some of our artists have brought in. So I'm very happy to have 4 of our artists here with me, and I'll introduce them to you briefly first. From left to right, we have Natalia Abichapki. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it right, guys.
Right.
I'm trying my best. Next to that, we have Devashish Biswal.
Yeah.
Selma Habibovic,
Yes.
and Jesus Garcia Martinez. A warm welcome to all 4 of you. Thank you so much for taking the time and effort to come to our studio and, giving all our viewers a little insight in the background of the art that you and your bacteria created together. So I'd like to start by showing our viewers one of the first ones, which is yours, Selma. Let's see if we can get the technicians to show us your piece of art. There it is. I recognize it immediately, but I'm sitting in front of this backdrop, so obviously that makes sense. But Selma, could you give us a little insight in why did you make this? What are we looking at?
Yes, first I must say I'm from Serbia, from Novi Pazar. It is a great honor to be here. This is my second ECCMID and I'm very excited. I have never been in Copenhagen, and when I saw the ECCMID competition for the art gallery, my first thought was, what are the most famous cultural buildings in Copenhagen? And then I saw the Little Mermaid statue. And I read the story about the creation of that monument, and that has thrilled me. I used UT, Agar from Promedia, and inoculating loops, sterile loops, and some bacterial isolates, Escherichia coli, Staphylococcus aureus, Enterococcus faecalis, Candida sp. The same process doesn't take much time. First, I found a picture of Copenhagen, and then I brought petri dish closer to the desktop, and I photographed from several angles, so the Little Mermaid blended into the picture. The link between art and science is inseparable, and it is impossible to observe them separately because they do not exist without each other. The primary goal basic goal of science is innovation and new knowledge. Like in Andersen's fairy tales, the inspiration of every person is happiness. And in fact, we all should be aware that the happiness lies in new acquaintances and new people who appear in our lives. And that's why you are my greatest happiness now and here, that we are all together here in the world's largest center of microbiology, Copenhagen.
Wow, wow. I love the analogy with Andersen as well. But the amount of detail is very striking to me. Well, maybe I'm not the best person to be a judge of the art, but Agar Art, I've never seen it so much detail, and I mean everyone can see that this is a Little Mermaid.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for explaining that to us. Can we take a look at another piece of art? Jesus, I believe it's yours. Now, hoping we're going to show one which is actually recognizable as your piece of art. This is it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Christmas tree. I must say that this is not my only creation. There are a lot of contribution, the personal, the staff of the people that I love.
Okay.
It all started to simply decorate the love for in the Christmas days. But more and more contributors get their designs and decide to put all together and make a great design with all the images with Christmas items.
So the whole department is into creating Agar Art.
What?
the whole department is a huge
Yeah, the whole one,
fan
all the
of
staff,
creating
the
art.
majority of the staff
Yeah.
made a
That's
design
wonderful.
and contribute to the Christmas tree. There are the media and the bacteria that normally we found in the clinical samples.
Yeah.
E. coli, yeast, Pterococcus. Well, and we decided to put all together in a tree.
Wow. Wow. And which one did you make?
Probably the candle and the little tree.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful. It's very
Well,
much into the Christmas spirit. I love how you bring the
For us,
work and
for us, the first time we designed with bacteria, but
yeah.
we'll keep trying to improve our skills next year.
Well, if this is the beginning, then you're up for an
Sure.
excellent start. Well, I thank you for explaining. Okay, we're moving on to Natalia's art. Let's see if we can. Yeah, here we are. Well, see you in ECCMID.
Yeah.
Here we are. We're very lucky to see you in person.
Thank you.
But what are the bacteria telling us?
Yeah, so what about thinking about the event and about meeting people here from all over the world that I think about drawing the world.
Yeah.
So I decided
And did
to...
you know you wanted to create Agar Art? Is it something that you do more often? Or?
Yeah, I really like drawing. I usually do for Christmas. Every Christmas I did different drawing.
Oh, you do drawing, but also with the
bacteria.
petri dish?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh,
I
wow.
really like the different Agar Art. So.
Oh, I'd love to have someone in my network who
Yeah.
creates Agar Art for me as a Christmas gift. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it says it all. I mean, especially this year even more than any other year. This ECCMID is really being represented by people all over the world.
Yeah, and it's very special for me because it's my first ECCMID.
Yeah, well, and it's far more than
Yeah.
just Europe. Yeah, well, it's wonderful
Yeah.
to have you here. Did you enjoy your first morning today?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you visit a
lot?
lot of scientific
Yeah,
programs?
I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see it. It's
Yeah.
radiant everywhere, and your petri dish says so too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, last but definitely not least, we have Devasish Biswal. Yeah, there it is.
I'm Dr. Devashish, and I hail from one of the coastal states, that is Odisha, from India.
Yeah.
And currently, I'm working as a senior resident doctor in the Department of Clinical Microbiology at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, which is one of the tertiary care centers of India. So, if I speak as a child, I was more inclined towards music, not in painting or art. But
What kind of music? Do you play an instrument? Or?
I do. I do sing sometimes in my.
I won't make
regional-
you sing here.
I mean, in my regional language and in Hindi.
Yeah.
And we got one information from our ex-head of the department to contribute something, painting or art, based on a scientific temperament for our departmental e-newsletter. So I wrote one poem on COVID-19, which got published in the ECCMID Art Gallery. And second was this painting of Agar Art. We know that peacock is the national bird of India.
Yeah.
And in India, like we have 4 to 5 months of good monsoon season, and peacock loves to dance in the rain. So that drew my inspiration to do the Agar Art of peacock. If I see the body of the peacock is made with the colonies of Escherichia coli, which is grown on the blood agar. The streak lines, which is of golden yellow, that is basically the golden yellow colonies of Staphylococcus aureus, which I grew on the blood agar. And the eye of the peacock is made up of the colonies of Stenotrophomonas maltophilia, which I grew on the blood agar. And the beak of the peacock, I grew from the over-incubated colonies of Staphylococcus aureus for 48 hours. And the remaining design I used from different colonies of Klebsiella pneumoniae, Escherichia coli, and Serratia marcescens. It took me around 8 hours to fully do the Agar Art, 4 hours on 2 consecutive days.
And how many, is it like hours waiting until it starts growing, or really setting the places?
Yeah. Actually, I used a mixture of colonies. Some colonies which was incubated after 18 to 24 hours. Some I used which was semi-incubated within 4 to 5 hours, and some was over-incubated after 48 hours. And we have 2 kinds of bacteria in medical microbiology. One is a gram-positive and the other is a gram-negative bacteria. So in my experience, what I found, the gram-positive bacteria are very difficult to pick up using a bacteriological loop. So I use a toothpick, the pick which we use to do the MALDI off.
Yeah.
There is a
And
automation technique in for the diagnosis of bacteria, that is the MALDI off. For that we use a pick. So the toothpick I used to pick up the gram-positive colonies, and the straight wire and the loop I used for the gram-negative colonies. So it was very difficult on my part, and I had to sit for 4 hours at a stretch on 2 consecutive days. So
But is this knowledge that you have just as a scientist because you know what your bacteria is going to do in your petri dish, or is it knowledge that you obtain when you're starting to work on creating a piece of art, that you just do a trial and error and then you find out, oh, I have to do it differently?
actually, I'm a keen observer. So before this painting, I had done some experiments on this bacteria to look out which colonies would give me the best color at
Yeah.
what point of time.
Yeah.
So I think 2 to 3 days I had spent only on experimenting the colony and the
Yeah,
duration it took to grow on the colony, to grow on the plate. And then I used all this knowledge and ideas to finally give
Yeah.
a finishing touch to my Agar Art.
Yes, Selma, I see you nodding.
Yes.
This was the same for you?
Same.
Some trial and error.
Yes.
So you have a number you try a number of times before you get the right result, or what you're happy
several
with.
days. One day, the second day, and 24 hours after incubation, and we can see colonies and colors and mix it.
Wow, I think it's very impressive. I love that this exists, Agar Art, and I love that you all took the trouble or the effort and the enthusiasm to make these wonderful pieces, and that you took the time to come here into the studio
Thank you
and
for your
give our
invitation.
viewers a little more in-depth explanation on how this comes about. So thank you all four of
Thank
you for coming here. And thank you for watching us. We will be back at 4 o'clock, and we will be back with one of our other keynote speakers, Gagandeep Kang. Professor Kang will be here to speak a little bit more about her keynote lecture and some other scientific contributions she's bringing to this year's ECCMID. So that'll be very interesting. We hope to see you then. Please join us.